September the 22nd. We're having our last forum.
How's it going, everybody? This is Play 7 Forum. I don't believe Miss Marisa Leal is online. So we'll be having Play 7, Eddie Garcia on.
He is the only participant in tonight's forum, and I want to go over a couple of reasons why. In place 6, we have 3 candidates. We have Ms. Leal, Ms. Peña, and Mr. Rodriguez. Ms. Leal contacted us that she had decided not to participate in the forum. That's why she's not here. Ms. Peña also contacted us and decided not to participate in the forum. And Mr. Joe Rodriguez was not invited by our membership because when he was a board member, he had voted for the District of Innovation, which we were adamantly against, and we adamantly pleaded for board members not to vote for it. They disregarded us on that issue, and he also disregarded us on a couple of other issues.
Eddie Garcia will be the only one on tonight.
And for those reasons, we decided not to invite him to our forum. In place 7, there are 2 candidates. Mr. Eddie Garcia, who is here, and Mr. Carlos Elizondo, who we did not invite for several reasons. All right. One being the District of Innovation, when he was a board member, we adamantly opposed it and asked him not to vote for it. He disregarded us on that issue as well as some other issues. So he was not invited in today's forum.
Not allowing the public to hear
and
both
so,
candidates.
With that being said, and so our members understand why. Again, Mr. Garcia, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
What's up,
because
Eli?
We
should have, right?
really want to know your views on different subjects that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I will be asking questions.
Unfortunately.
You will have 2 minutes to respond to every question. You have to use the 2 minutes up. No, be comfortable, answer your questions. If you get close to the 2-minute mark.
Same thing I say, Raymond.
Celia will hold up the sign. Can you see the sign that she's holding?
Guys, and we have with us Mr. Carlos Elizondo.
There. Yeah. She'll hold up that sign, and just to let you know that you're getting close to the 2-minute mark. All right? And so...
Mr. Elizondo, I'll have you answer the questions.
Okay, Mr. Garcia said it would be okay for me to refer to him as Eddie. All right? So Eddie, we'll start. The first thing we want is,
Mr. Elizondo, could you hear us?
Please tell us about yourself, your family, your educational background, and your occupation.
Well, first of all, my name's Edelmiro Eddie Garcia. I'm not about titles or anything like that, and that is the reason why I say, and I always tell people, just call me Eddie. I'm 56 years old. I've been a public servant for over 30 years of my life, serving my country and my... I first initiated my education in Mexico. That is one of the reasons why I'm able to speak, write, and understand the Spanish language. In that, my first 3 years of my life, I attended school in Mexico. I'm familiar with that. And then I attended Clearwater, Central, and eventually, Hannah for a couple of weeks. And eventually, I graduated from Gladys Flatter High School and also attended Texas Cosmos College. So pretty much my wife, my family, my children are attended public school here in Brownfield. My wife and myself are for Calvary graduates. My kids are Hannah High School Eagle graduates. My wife recently retired, 29 years of serving the ISD. And again, I'm here and I'm here to serve continue serving the community.
Thank you, sir. Why are you running for school board? what are your priorities for the ISD, and why should Brownsville educators stand together, American Federation of Teachers support your candidacy?
Well, you know what? I just recently got appointed to the school board, and I had the opportunity to see firsthand, the need, direction, and accountability of the district. Also hearing from parents and family on certain things that the district is going through, as well as listening to my wife for the past 29 years. So I think all these things, this direction is one of the reasons why I see, and again, continue wanting to serve my community, and that is the reason why I want to keep on serving.
Carlos, do you want to jump in?
Yes.
Next question. What is your opinion of teacher union associations? As a board member, how would you go about working with the leadership together and the other local teacher unions?
I'm glad you asked. As a police officer,
Hold on a second here. Okay.
Nobody can. Frankie, you there?
benefits of an association.
Yes.
There's a lot of that goes on and to belonging to an association. There's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of functions, protection, and the success. All this depends the success of its members.
Sorry, David. I think it's his audio.
This is also a link
Garcia's audio.
membership and the school
Harder to
district
be ID, bro.
of its students.
Carlos, it's your audio. It's your mic.
I have been working hand in hand with BEST and TBA. As a matter of fact, Mr.
Is that better?
At the beginning, when I
Yes,
first
sir.
joined the school board, before we got the compensation plan, he had given me pretty much a lot of information similar to what the TASB report presented. And so they had been constantly in contact with me, both BEST and TBA. And I am very grateful that, they are looking after their membership. And
We got it, I think.
I continue to work with them, and I look forward to working with them as well. So, that's what I believe in. I'm a firm believer of associations.
Carlos, do you want to answer the questions real quick?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Let me finish because they're shooting them real quick, and that way I'll go back and answer all the questions.
Sounds good.
Well, where can I start? I mean, there's a lot of things that a lot of people do not know about me. For example, again,
The audio's gone.
which I have been a board member for the past 12 years. 10 of those years, I have been the chairman. And as a chairman, I have been able to work with 13 current board members, all professionals. It's a diversified board. I have also served on a 4-year with the I went blank on it. It's
He doesn't know what he's answering, guys.
Let me come back. So I've also served on
Apologize.
I think his screen timed out.
Association of Community Health Centers Committee on Agricultural Workers, which I am currently the second vice chair on that. I am also currently serving on I have served on the National Advisory Council on Migrant Health.
I think he's having issues, Frankie, because Sylvia's not there.
To give them the answers or what?
On the fourth year as the
answers, yeah. Sylvia's not there to give them the answers, so.
what we
10
did was,
seconds.
we reported to the
Right.
Secretary of Health with a letter of recommendation after doing visits throughout the U.S.
Time.
Thank you.
I didn't get a good answer.
Okay.
I can't hear the question, Frank.
During the pandemic. We're asking this question because, as you know, the district, for good reason, is limiting people coming onto campuses. So with that being said, would you be in favor or opposed to teachers' unions being able to have these virtual campus visits during the pandemic?
I don't have any problem with the unions, associations visiting staff as long as it does not interfere with their duties. And I think the most appropriate time would be after their working hours. But again, there are times that it's necessary that they make contact with association members as a result of certain things that might happen during the course of the day. So again, as long as there's no interruption of instruction, I do not have a problem with that.
Thank you. Okay, the next question, sir. The previous superintendent, Dr. Sendejas, created a foundation for student scholarships that was funded by employee contributions. Based upon the BISD internal audit, the money was not used as it was intended for. How much of the money was not used for scholarships?
Well, it is unfortunate that this organization was not transparent. The intention of the organization, the foundation, had a good intent. But unfortunately, again, like I said, it was not transparent. For the past 3 years, or from the inception of that organization, they did not file the Form 990, which it gives information to the IRS and the general public regarding the funding. So this organization came into play sometime in 2016, and unfortunately, again, it was not transparent, and they used resources, school district resources. They used personnel during working hours, and they used the address of the school district, which all this is against what a foundation should be. It should be an entity totally separate from the school district, which again, they did not do. So as a result of them not being transparent, not being able to file the proper documentation, these audits have not been able to be complete audits. As a result of this, the last thing that, again, this board is trying to
Supposed to be a forum, but it's more like an interview. But we'll be having Carlos Elizondo answer the questions
IRS,
shortly
which,
after.
again, more than likely, we will not be able to get. This organization was dissolved on, the organization met March of 2019, at which time it was dissolved. Did they provide some scholarships? Yes, they did. Somebody mentioned that they provide thousands of scholarships. No, it was not even 200 scholarships that were provided by this organization. And again, you know what? If there would have been
10
transparency,
seconds.
this organization probably would have been in existence, and the board had nothing to do with the dissolving of this organization.
Time.
Okay, thank you for that answer. I'm gonna follow up on a question with that. What have you, as a board member, done to address this possible financial impropriety?
Good
Well,
question.
I'm sorry. As a board member, that is the reason why we continue.
Mr.
And
Elizondo,
we did this
he wasn't
last
invited.
audit, because we need to try to get to the bottom of this. You know, it should not be passed, it should have been dealt with before. And they did attempt to.
I
do
was
that
last week.
before, because there was an audit in 2019, which again, as a result of not having all this paperwork, finally, we are finally doing the last audit, and the last resource that we have is to try to get some answers from the IRS, being that, again, since
That's true, Sandra.
the tax exempt organization. We're trying to get some response from them, being that the person that was in charge handling this account here at the school district was the secretary belonging to the superintendent, which again, all these personnel have pretty much left, and it's very limited as to what can be done now. So last resource for right now is reaching out to the IRS.
Thank you. BISD health insurance. The previous school board foisted United Health among the district and its employees. The district wound up with a $15 million deficit and started having employees contribute $15 per month. The current board brought Blue Cross Blue Shield back to the district and now has made up the $15 million deficit. As a board member, would you continue with Blue Cross Blue Shield, or would you go out for bid?
Well, again, being involved with the health organization, I have learned many different things regarding health insurances and operations and stuff like that. And being that we are self-insured, self-funded, there's not much that we can do other than who the administrators are going to be. And that is something that we are taking a close look at. Yes, by switching over to Blue Cross Blue Shield, there have been some savings. And that is something that most definitely we're going to be taking a look at. 3 years ago, yes, it was 14 million in the red. We are finally in the black. And luckily, there won't be any increases. And most definitely, we are looking forward to better the coverage that we currently carry and pass on those savings to the membership. So this is something that it's going to be one of my priorities to take a look at, the health insurance coverage.
Thank you. Do you think the school board candidates should have to pass the same criminal background checks as BISD employees do before they are allowed to serve on the board?
Most definitely. Unfortunately, that is not a requirement. But that is something that hopefully legislation can be passed where there is a requirement. There's people that should not be serving on this type of board, having that, again, our primary duty is to take care of our children, our most precious. And definitely, I think that we do need to require a background check, just like we do on teachers. We should not be exempt from that. And hopefully, I look forward that something like that does eventually get passed.
Thank you. BISD is currently last in teacher pay. And in the RGB, as a board member, what commitment can you make to Brownsville Educate and the rest of the employees about raising our salaries to be competitive with other RGB districts?
As I stated earlier, your organization provided some documentation to me before the TASB report was presented. Again, I am opposed to the TASB compensation plan, being that I have said all along that it is only a recommendation. And yes, good thing the recommendation is that it's based on school districts similar to ours. But just because something works in another school district does not mean that it's going to work for ours. And my message has been all along is that we need to tailor it, work with it to our needs. And again, like I said, Mr. Hammonds provided this documentation, this information, very similar.
So he's not in favor of giving a pay raise, is that correct?
The TASB report. Like I said, this recommendation being that, again, teachers are well underpaid. They're $5,000 under the midpoint. there's a lot to be made, and we're still going to continue to working with this, as well as the classified personnel. I'm not pleased with it. Initially, the report was based on $16 million from the budget. Then it went down to 8 million. And some of the things that I have been looking at is that we should have some money based from the people that have retired. Also savings from COVID as a result of expenses. But at the same time, we've had other expenses as a result of COVID, having to buy PPE and all that stuff. But again, I will be working to improve the salaries of all employees.
Thank you. Okay, the previous school board and superintendent, Dr. Sendejas, spent $1.4 million on a scoreboard for Sam Stadium. It was originally budgeted for $600,000.
Why don't we talk about the race for the
Do you
super?
agree or disagree with that expenditure? Could the excess money have been spent on other needed programs for the district?
That is something that, again, it's a beautiful scoreboard, but to me, it is not worth the $1.4 million. You know, again, it was expected that it was going to generate revenue, which I don't believe it has. And to go from 600 to 1.4, I mean, come on. I am totally opposed, and most definitely those monies could have been used for other programs, monies that were taken from other programs that should not have been taken from. So this is something that I will not allow. If the money is not there, I don't feel that we should be cutting back on programs for something, a luxury like that. We could have done with a lot less.
He also gave a raise to the super after 9 months on the job.
Would you be in favor of having impartial mediators instead of area administrators to hear level 1 and level 2 grievances?
I think that would be a great idea, and most definitely it's something that we need to take a look at. Impartiality is very important to me, coming from my type of profession. So most definitely that's something that we can take a look at.
Thank you.
Short, vague.
As a board member, would you support or oppose maintaining our own police department?
I will support maintaining our own police department. The city has
Good point, Adolfo.
enough troubles as it is. They are short of manpower. McAllen has a bigger police force than Brownsville does. So definitely we need to be self-sufficient, be able to take care of our own, which is something that we are doing. And it's something that I want to continue to look at and make sure that our department is a true police force, that they are respected as such.
Thank you. Brownsville Educators Stand Together, American Federation of Teachers has presented and proposed policy change in which seniority in the district is given a higher priority than it now currently has. As a board member, would you be willing to support and this change to policy?
Most definitely, I am supportive of seniority. Seniority means that the person has been loyal to the organization. In this case, it's the district. So it should stand for something. So most definitely, I will be advocating for seniority, that they should not lose their position. And so, yes, I'm all for seniority, that it should be moved up to the top.
Thank you. Currently, many BISD employees are facing the dilemma of having to return to work and having to send their own children back to school, even though the distance learning for their children and distance learning as a teacher. What would you tell them?
Okay, repeat that again, please.
Yes, sir. Currently, many BISD employees are
I want everybody at home safe.
having to return to work and having to send their own children back to school, even though they were in support of distance learning for their children and distance learning as a teacher of themselves. What would you tell these people, these employees?
Well, you know what? I am in support of distance learning.
But
Okay, but unfortunately,
uh,
the directive that we are receiving is that we have to offer face-to-face instruction. So again, not doing face-to-face instruction is going to lead to cutbacks in funding. Cutbacks in funding means, unfortunately, that drastic measures will have to be taken. So again, I will continue to support distance learning. Hopefully, we will be allowed to continue to do that. And again, we're going to try to minimize as much as we can, but all that is going to depend again on the direction of the government, in this case, TEA. And that's what we have to follow, abide by those guidelines. We are not the only district. This is something that it's statewide.
Always comparing to everybody else.
We are. Harlingen will be following a week after we do. So it's nothing that it's our district that is doing. It's something that everybody has to abide by.
Thank you. If a student were to test positive or come to school with a temperature, they are to be isolated in a designated classroom. What staff person is going to be assigned to be with that student? How could this be set up as to not put that employee at risk?
It's going to be very important that we provide the appropriate PPE. One of the
N95
things
mask?
at the last meeting that I mentioned is that, for example, I did make the comment that nurses need to be given different type of PPE, since they're going to be the primary personnel that's going to be dealing with the individuals that might be having some of these symptoms. I've also made a comment that our special ed need to get the appropriate PPE, being that
Back to school.
the students of special needs require special attention. So therefore, these employees are going to require different type of PPE. So it's going to be extremely important that, again, we go back to it, we analyze and we take a look at what's happening and make sure that we give them the appropriate PPE.
He didn't say he was going to take care. You didn't answer the question.
No, he danced around it.
We hear from many of our members, they are expected to attend trainings on Saturdays. What recommendations would you make to the superintendent when it comes to staff and professional development for our employees?
Well, when it comes to staff and professional development, that is something that is continuing. And unfortunately, sometimes if we can compensate them, we should compensate them. In my profession, we were able to do it during the working hours, and at times there were different ways of being compensated. So it's something that we need to take a look at.
Working hours, man. They have to teach.
Necessity of having those meetings on Saturdays. I mean, we all have families, so most definitely it's something that we need to take into account and take into consideration.
Thank you. Many employees have significant health issues, cancers, diabetes, pulmonary issues that make them more susceptible to COVID-19. Many had applied for the ADA accommodations, including from home. We were being told that this accommodation is now being rescinded. What, as a board member, can you do to make sure that this is done on an individual basis and not a blanket rejection by the district?
Well, most definitely, it has to be done on an individual basis. I myself, I am a diabetic. I am a heart patient. I just lost my sister a month ago as a result of COVID. I'm familiar and I am concerned with this matter. And most definitely, it's something that I will be addressing and taking into account the consideration that it should be on an individual basis.
You're done before you open school.
Yeah. Should be doing that now.
Okay.
Not now.
Classroom teachers are being told that if 100% of their students have devices or hotspots, that they could be teaching from home. Why isn't this being offered to all other employees, including inclusion teachers?
Okay, repeat that again.
Yes, sir. Okay, classroom teachers are being told that if 100% of their students have devices or hotspots, that they can teach from home. Why isn't this being offered to all other employees, including inclusion teachers?
Okay, so again, this is going to be
Follow
the direction that we're getting
the answer.
as to what the requirements are going to be, as to who's going to be able to needing to go in. Again, you know, if there's the child that does not have a hotspot, does not have a internet, or they're to come in. So we're going to be needing some teachers to come in and do this. And I have been an advocate supporter of being able to do things as much as possible when we can work with skeletal crews to prevent and minimize the exposure of individuals. So again,
The exposure if he's classroom with no students in the school.
that again, there's certain requirements that need to be met, and we have to follow those guidelines that are being set forth.
Policy and procedure.
Thank you.
Guidelines.
Would you be in favor of a rotation schedule for all other employees? For the ones having to go in?
Again, like I said, skeletal crews means that would be meaning to have a rotation.
Doctors,
You know, if people can work again from home, you know, I don't have a problem with that. Which, again, unfortunately, as we move forward with face to face,
He doesn't have a problem with it. He should be advocating for that then.
personnel at the school.
then why is everybody at school right now?
Yes,
Frankie?
rotation schedules, I believe, can.
Skeletal
And it's
crews should not be used, man.
how things are working. It's something that we most definitely can take a look at.
Okay.
You should be looking at it 3 months ago, 5 months ago.
Another seniority question here. Should teachers lose seniority if they do not do supplemental duties outside of their contract, including tutorial?
No, there's no way that somebody can lose seniority. Again, those are supplemental programs. So no, I do not believe that they should lose their seniority. People will get compensated, you know, and again, that has nothing to do with seniority. How can you lose that based on not wanting to participate on something that there's plenty of personnel out there. As a matter of fact, I feel that everybody should be given the opportunity to take part on some of those supplemental duties. But losing seniority, nope, not at all.
Thank you. Currently, most campus administrators appoint their department chairs and UIL sponsors. Would you be in favor or opposed to having an administrative guideline where teachers would select their department heads and UIL sponsors? And it could be rotated between staff.
Yes, I believe that that is something that their peers should be the ones to do it. The SPDM, you know, should be
Yes, Juan.
well, should not be appointed by the principal. That's something that again we need to take a look at policy on how that is dealt with. But most definitely, the peers should be the ones to appoint those leaders, being that everybody is going to need to work together.
Thank you. Okay. There's a lack of uniformity and communication, which is a big current issue within the district right now. What are your recommendations on how the district can improve the uniformity of communication?
That is something that from the beginning that I got appointed to the board. I have been strongly suggesting that anything that we do needs to be done district-wide. It should not be by each school making their own decisions, even though, yes, there's some things that they have to be done. But when it comes to administration, it needs to be followed, the direction of what the superintendent is saying.
So only what the superintendent says. We're not going to have any more
One is
case management, Frankie.
followed up by posting
Get
it
it?
on the,
Make it a communistic event.
and also KBSD, using our TV program that the school district currently has.
He listens to Bronco talk, I'll tell you that.
A big
Yes,
ask
it does.
to be able to disseminate all this information, and for not only for staff but also for parents and students as well.
This year, counselors and all special education support staff were moved off of the teacher salary scale and moved to the administrative salary scale. Would you support returning them to the teacher salary scale?
Well, once again, I am opposed to the compensation plan. I think that we need to take a look at it. And like I said, it's something that we need to tailor it to our needs. It's something that it moves too fast. That again, if you remember correctly, even somebody, tried to make fun. I didn't
You
know
were there.
that compensation.
Voted.
Again, I am opposed. It's something that we definitely need to take a look at. And I am going to be pushing for this compensation plan to be reviewed again. Your association, along with TBA, has been pushing on a lot of these changes, and it's something that I'm willing to work with you.
Thank you.
You should have worked on it before they voted on it, not after. After the counselors and teachers, counselors like that, everybody else.
Life within this district. As a board member, what can you do to prevent it?
One of the things that I have
Question, Frank,
advocated,
in here.
definitely opposed to
Retaliation.
that type of behavior, especially coming from the
No.
law enforcement field. One of the things that I did during my law enforcement field for 4 years, I visited numerous schools, and I did reach thousands of students in which I instructed them about drug awareness and bullying as well. So this is something that definitely I do not, that I'm totally opposed. And most definitely people that have reached out to me, I have told them that I will not put up with bullying, and that they are more than willing to reach out to me. And people that are out there that see me and know that I have told them that whatever information they reach out to me and relate to me will be addressed anonymously, and I will, try to address whatever issues, concerns they might have.
Thank you. BISD student enrollment is expected to decline by 1,000 students a year for the next 5 years. What actions as a board member would you take to reverse this?
I want to hear this one.
That is something that it's going to continue to happen as a result of charter schools opening up throughout Texas. As a matter of fact, there's been 9 more charter schools that have been approved in Texas to open. So luckily, unluckily, some of those students that leave, some of them do end up coming back. And why are we losing numbers? Well, there's several reasons. One of them is, yes, the opening of these schools. And 2, Brownsville's children population is growth is not what it used to be. So,
No.
yes,
It has nothing to do with that.
it's a
It has to do with that. You have no leadership. There's no program, special program being created.
continue providing the services
You're not attracting them to stay.
that we do. We need to showcase our academic strengths and also our diversified programs, our fine arts, our sports, all these things. We need to, put them out there and show what Brownsville has to offer. We have the teachers, the best teachers out there, So most definitely, as a result of them, we are the best choice.
Thank you. Here's a follow-up question to that. Do you think that constant criticism of the district affects student enrollment?
Most definitely, yes, it does affect student enrollment. That's one of the things that we need to work on. It is unfortunate that there's people out there that instead of trying to help the district,
Right?
they're
We're talking
criticizing.
about you.
And my slogan is building our children's future together, because that's what it's going to take. Working together, to bring our children at the top. And hopefully by doing so, we're going to encourage others to come back to our district.
Thank you. In this next question,
Agree, Leticia.
I think we're really talking about board members, okay? We're talking about board members in general. Are professional ethics important in being a board member? Explain and give an example of the board member code of ethics that are important to you.
One of the things that most definitely the code of ethics is extremely important. Again, coming back from the law enforcement field, it's extremely important that we are transparent, that we are honest. And that is something that I bring to the table here. And most definitely one of the things that a lot of people bring up is having to do to accept donations or support from vendors. One of the things that I have mentioned is that
He opened the door.
anybody who
Wish
wishes
the show.
the campaign should not expect anything in return for that. As a matter of fact, right now, my monies, I have set monies aside from my retirement. That is one of the perks of being able to retire after so many years and having a good retirement system, and also good friends and family that are endorsing me and supporting me in this endeavor of continuing to be a board member with BISD.
Thank you. If elected, can we count on you to complete your term?
Most definitely. Again, like I said,
Eddie,
after hearing my wife for 29 years and serving for the past 7-8 months, I have learned many things. And as a result of this, I did 32 years with the police department. I've done 20 plus years with the financial institution, with the
Go watch it on your page,
Federal Credit Union,
Guillermina.
12 years with
That's
the
right.
Brownsville Community Health Center. So most definitely, I'm the type of person that I like to help in whichever way I can. And I think I will be an asset to this board and to the district. And all I'm asking is for that opportunity.
Thank you. Brownsville Educators Stand Together, American Federation of Teachers, was the first of the unions to provide a comprehensive plan for a safe return to the schools. BEST AFT was the first to promote distance learning for the entire first semester. Do you support our position?
Most definitely. Again, I am supporting distance learning, and as long as we are afforded by the government to continue to do so, and we're hoping that TEA will continue and support this. Again, I'm all for distance learning. It's not the same type of education. Not everybody learns the same way, but for right now, considering the circumstances, I feel that distance learning is the best thing out there.
Okay, and as you said, and it's the same thing we're hearing, TEA, and we truly understand that. But let's say TEA gives the local authorities some leeway to make some of these decisions. All right?
Good point,
It's a wonder
Martinez.
question, I understand. But if that is done, what data would you use to determine when it is safe for us to return to the schools, or both?
They voted on scientifically.
Well, it's unfortunate that the data that's being provided to us at this point is not accurate data. Unfortunately, that is what we have to base on the data being provided. We cannot go out there and, how can you go out there and get the data anywhere else? The data is provided to us by the county and the state. If DEA gives us that opportunity, most definitely I will be advocating for distance learning.
You should be advocating already. People are dying locally.
Next question. Dyslexia are currently being phased out. If one retires or leaves, they will not be replaced. Are you in agreement?
Dyslexia, you're talking about dyslexia, correct?
Yes, sir.
One of my children participated in that program, and the dyslexia program was a great asset. And most definitely, seeing that working firsthand personally from the point of seeing my child, I would most definitely will try to advocate that we continue with this program. He's not the only one. I've known of other students that have gone through it and have benefited. I think it's a great program that hopefully we can find some way to keep that particular program.
Thank you. With those questions being answered, you have completed all of our questions, and I appreciate that. We are going to give you a minute and a half, 90 seconds
That was
for
quick.
our closing statement. Eddie, so.
Well, thank you very much, Best. It's been a great honor to be able to work with an organization like yourself. Like I said, you all have been very supportive in providing documentation, in being able to help me make my job easier, or serve as a board member, I should say, to better the district and make better decisions. And I hope that the membership supports me and that I am able to get endorsed. And all I can tell you, once again, like I said, I'm not going to make promises I cannot keep, but I can tell you that I will make every effort to address whatever issues pertain to the betterment and success of our students.
Not gonna make promises.
Staff. That's my primary function. And again, we will be working together to build a better future for our children and again, for the staff.
Thank you. That will conclude our forum. Eddie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your views with Brownsville Educators Stand Together. And it was a pleasure meeting you as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much once again.
Okay.
Carlos, what was your take on the interview?
Where do you want me to start, man? There was a lot of questions. I wish I could have answered. I wish I could have been there. To answer them or help him answer. Right?
Let me say, guys, I have watched a lot of forums, and none have been as painful as the one that I just watched. And I'm not just saying that. Look, guys, there was no answers to any questions, at least the ones that I was able to hear while I was on a parade. I mean, the guy has absolutely no knowledge, no concept. There was a lot of sidetracking to the questions. And again, you would think that after being on there, these past 6 months, he'd have a little bit of knowledge in regards to what's actually going on in our community and the way that process goes forward in regards to the function of not only the board, but also, TEA, and had absolutely no clue whatsoever. Carlos, what's your take?
On which part of it, Erasmo? Really, I mean, I could have shuffled the dance like that too if I really wanted to. But the thing here is to actually give the questions that people want to hear, not be fed, BS sidesteps and shadow talk and stuff like that. What did he actually answer? We go through the questions, Erasmo. What do you think about AOBE or TVA? kiss butt, get whatever they want. I understand that as a union man before. You go over there and you start, talking to the board members to see what benefits you and what you can get for your members. But here they're not doing that. They're only trying to see what they can get. Like for Patrick Camus, the only thing he wants to get is get his numbers higher. The higher the numbers, the more money he puts into his pocket. Albert Alegria, same thing. The higher the numbers, the more money he puts in his pocket to build a pool, to buy cars, to buy a boat, to fix his house, which he says that it's his office, yet he employs his whole family. I don't think his members know exactly what's going on, not only to facilitate the monies that go to the ranch in Mexico. But anyway, that's what I think about that kind of organization. Your members are the most important people, and they should have the vote. Here is the vote is coming down from maybe 3 or 4 people. They're sending emails and stuff like that on why they shouldn't vote for these members. If they would have given me the opportunity to come out here and go toe to toe, because that's about the only I can do with Eddie, on the questions, and then they can have the ability to say, okay, he's a horrible vote, or maybe, he does make sense. In this case, they denied their members the ability to ask me the questions that they want answered. So they're one-sided. The superintendent previous foundation, well, we know that Eddie and Drew Brown hate her. And so they did everything with an internal audit. They should have got an outside agency to come out here and do a non-biased audit, because guess what? What did they find out? Exactly what the board members told them to find. They left breadcrumbs for them to follow, whether it be anything, and they paid them $40,000 or $50,000 to do an audit. So that is outside. Now you ask the students that benefit from the scholarship. You should ask them that question. Did it benefit you or it didn't? You ask the teachers that got the scholarship. Did it benefit you or it didn't? Not only that, no monies came from the district. It came from the employees. They gave the money as much as they wanted to this organization to give back to their own members and their own colleagues. So there again, just a witch hunt. And then he goes back and I saw this and I did that and I was here and I was there. He was one of the proponents. And I'm telling you what, it's a very good cause. Brownsville Police Department Christmas Drive uses its own members and its own staff, one guy year-round, to collect monies for this drive. And they benefit thousands of kids. It's a great organization. Except this is PISD. He just didn't like it because it wasn't his idea, and Drew Brown hates Dr. Zendejas. Simple as that. So where he comes out that employees were being used, yes, he knows that. He was part of the Brownsville Police Department Christmas toy drive for 20-some years. And that's exactly how they do it. They use employees. They don't use outside agencies to come in and collect monies for themselves. They use their own employees full-time to go out there and collect the funds.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And again, I don't know. I was at a parade at Porter High School for Europe, trying to join the students out there. And let me say that, I was listening in to the, as y'all saw me commenting every so often, I was listening in to the forum. There was no forum, man. It's an embarrassment. But again, Patrick Camus did everything he could to exclude individuals. Let individuals come on and ask them the hard questions. I mean, and if you've got these aha moments, and if you've got these I gotcha moments, well, expose them publicly to your group. And but that's not the case. That's not what happened. Carlos, anything other that you want to share?
Yeah, there was no answer. So I can't really get here and try and go and answer the questions, because he didn't answer basically anything. One of them was very important for me, and maybe a couple. I'm going to touch bases right now. Is when they asked him, Best was the first of the unions to provide a comprehensive plan for the district. Who cares, Erasmo? Who cares if you're first or second? If a comprehensive plan is good, no matter who brought it, first, second, or third, as long as it's good, because it's going to benefit every member, not just best members. It's going to benefit best members, AOBE members, TVA members, and any member who's not part of the association, because not 100% of the employees believe in these organizations. So it benefits everybody. So it doesn't matter who's best. Oh, pat my back, I'm best. Who cares? As long as it gets done. And then he says, well, TVA leaves it up. TEA is the one that decides. No, TEA specifically says, if he was to go read it, it says there, that the decision is solely put onto the LEA. He probably doesn't even know what that is, right? It's a local education agency. That
Oh, he
means that he should have voted on it to ask for the waiver, Erasmo, and he chose not to. He took the tug of the rope from the master, which sits next to him, and from the idiot who's up there as leading the district, which is superintendent. TEA says if the school district or the board feels that there is a high level of risk to our BISD staff, of course it doesn't say BISD staff, but it says to your staff or your students, you can vote on an extension and get that waiver for 4 extra weeks. They chose not to.
Well, let me, and I'm going to steal some of the thunder out here. Let me make some mentions in regards to some things that little Eddie did not provide. Little Eddie did not even mention that the golf tournament was something that the one that superintendent's golf tournament was supervised by Drew and used district personnel and resources. Why didn't she mention that when she was out there blasting the individuals that were actually working on the Centennial Foundation, which also provided scholarships to the individuals? She never mentioned that. In regards to the insurance, very proud. These people are very proud that we're now in the black. Well, what the insurance addressed was a deficit because BISD increased the contribution. If you remember correctly, it increased the contribution from $410 to $615, which meant $255 more per employee per month. And of course, in the 12-month period, of course, they're going to come out with $16 million. So in reality, if you go back to the 410, we'll still be in the red. But they never respond to that. They never answer to that.
That's right.
And again, this guy has no concept, no clue. Because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Doesn't. No concept.
Erasmo, but he did know this, Erasmo. He did know this. What number did he throw out there to give raises to teachers? What number was that? $2,000?
The two that they were fighting for him and Holy Minerva.
If you increase the out-of-pocket expense for each member, it's $215 more, I think it was. So you do that times 12. That's over $2,000. The teachers are still getting paid less because of the higher contribution into their own insurance. So he's putting it on their back to be able to pay for the deficit that the school district obtained because of that health insurance. So where is he helping the teachers out? Doesn't give them the $5,000 raise that came from Austin for everybody, right? Decided to give them $2,000, increase their insurance, and took away the counselors, diagnosticians, the nurses, and the librarians out of their pay. And remove the pay scale or the step increase. How come Best doesn't go out there and say that? They fought tooth and nail when I was there about getting their step increases. Albert Alegría was there. Step increase, and now they're okay with just poof, it's gone. That you should have answered.
Very fortunate. Saludos, sobrino. Dios te bendiga. Erasmo Carlos Frankie 2020. Amen, brother. God bless. YouTube. Carlos, we got 1 hour. Any last words?
Nothing. The other thing is this dyslexia program. These kids don't grow out of dyslexia. They are taught to learn and to overcome and adapt. They're going to be dyslexia for their entire life. He is clueless of what he's doing or what he's saying. That just tells you how far away the gap is between him and our staff and our kids.
Yeah, and just to finalize, Coach mentioned the gender lawsuit. We were talking about the gender lawsuit. The gender lawsuit was Drew and Sylvia were a part of it. Compensation plan was removed, exposing district again. Guys, Carlos, there is no answering of questions. It gives you enough material, I would think, just to make enough little answers to nothing that he responded to. Nothing. Guys, we'll be back later on at 8 o'clock. Stay safe.
Me peiné por nada.
Stay safe. Be good to each other. Be back in a bit. God bless.
Take
Be
care.
good to you.